The scene starts with Yi-jae finding himself in his mother's body and saying that death is too cruel. He gets his mother's memories, as long as Yi-jae felt that he knew everything about his mother, but it's turned out there are more things he didn't know about. Yi-jae sees that how his mother didn't break down after his father's death because of him. Yi-jae learns that, however, life was not kind to his mother. She never gave up no matter how hard life became. Yi-jae understands the pain his death caused for his mother and how she felt guilty for his death. He realizes how she became an outcast and a bad omen for others. Yi-jae remembers his words to death that he didn't cause harm to anyone. He knows now that he caused harm to the most person he loved, his mother. Yi-jae learns that the most painful death in his 12 deaths, it was the death of someone that he loved. For Yi-jae was Jisoo and for his mother was Yi-jae. Yi-jae decides to carry on living as his mother. It is his punishment for himself. The next morning, he wakes up early, takes the morning train and goes to his mother's cleaning job. On the train, he sees many other people's parents doing their best to get by. He felt unbearably ashamed of his own death. After he finished his mother's work and heads back home, struggling with knee pains, but he keeps pushing on. At home, he finds a house savings plan that his mother had started for him when he was little and remembers her telling him that he can use it to buy a house when he gets older. Yi-jae feels sad and cries. The next day, he falls asleep on the train from work, wakes up at the station near his columbarium. He decides to visit. He sees her memories, his mother visiting him every day after work, and she continuously blames herself for his death. Yi-jae wished he could apologize to his mother and tell her he would want to be born as her son once more in his next life, but none of words or his feelings could reach her. He decides to give back to his mother by taking her on a trip to Mount Abong, a favorite vacation spot for his parents. Yi-jae pushes himself to the top of the mountain regardless of the pain and lets his mother seize the beautiful view of the sundown. He stands beside his mother and apologizes for not keeping his promise, and they hold hands. Yi-jae starts going down the mountain late at night, and the darkness makes it hard for him to find his way. He rolls down a cliff. He almost gives up and lies down there waiting for death, but in the next day, he wakes up at the hospital. Yi-jae is happy that his mother is still alive. Suddenly, he remembers his mother crying over his dead body in the morgue, begging that he wake up so they can go home. Yi-jae realizes that he made a grave mistake when he committed suicide. In addition, he realizes that he constantly lived his life in fear that he was not good enough, afraid he would fall behind his peers, and afraid of rejection. He ended his life before it could blossom because of the constant fear. Yi-jae realizes that life is an opportunity and that the pain he thought engulfed his life is only a small part. Life is made up of different days. Sometimes, it could be rainy, windy, and other times sunny, but all these days make life worth living. Yi-jae dies after he fulfilled his mother's wish for him to live his next life until the end. Yi-jae chooses to live as his mother for 32 years, which is longer than the time spent living as Yi-jae. Yi-jae meets up with Death again. He tells Death he misses her so much. Yi-jae spent all the time apart from Death, thinking about what to tell her when they meet again. He gets on his knees, begging Death to give him a chance to live as himself just once. He wants to have just one chance to hug his mother. Death tells him that he has finished his punishment, and all that remains is God's judgment. But before judgment, she gives him one more bullet. Yi-jae fires the gun, shooting himself in the head. The scene is back at the rooftop. Yi-jae's mother calls, but this time, Yi-jae picks up the call.